Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video from me, Pickles Parker Reviews. Now, a few months back, I did a video titled Fixing Doctor Who Series 12 and the Timeless Child arc. And the video got a fairly good response actually. I got a fair amount of compliments for it, it was pretty good views wise. And ultimately, I really enjoyed making it. I really enjoyed just talking about what I would do in a situation and talking about my ideas about Doctor Who and how I would make Doctor Who within the restrictions of pre-existing stories, because it was a really cool idea to do, exploring my take and yeah, just limiting myself to these certain criteria and seeing what I could come up with that was better than what Chris Chibnall can come up with. So today I wanted to offer up a sequel video, and it's not called Fixing Doctor Who Revolution of the Daleks, because of course Revolution of the Daleks hasn't been released yet, and who knows if it's going to be bad. It might actually be brilliant, I don't have much hope, but hey, it might actually be brilliant. It's actually meant to be part of a series, 2 videos, based on my Fixing Doctor Who Series 12 video, entitled Rewriting the Jodie Whittaker Era. Essentially, I stole Ace Creeper's video and decided to split it into 2. Rewriting the 13th Doctor Era Series 11 and rewriting the 13th Doctor Era Series 12. And obviously this was going to be at the end of the Series 12 video. However, I realised that I actually don't have time to make those videos. I mean, realistically, you're probably thinking, until the special, you've got 2 months. Surely you could make those videos. But they'd involve a lot of scripting and a lot of planning, and ultimately, if you know my work ethic and my schedule, then you'd know that ultimately they just wouldn't come out before the special one. Just look at 2 of my last 3 podcasts recorded in August and ended up coming out towards the end of October, so there's not much hope that I would ever get those 2 videos up. So that's why I decided to do a separate video just to detail what I would do with Revolution of the Daleks. And because I knew I wouldn't be able to get those 2 videos out, I didn't want to then be influenced and rewrite my idea for Revolution of the Daleks, basing it more off of the story once I do those videos after the special, because ultimately I thought I have some pretty good ideas, at least in my opinion, of what the special could be, just purely based on some factors and the name alone. So ultimately I just wanted to explain that in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. Now obviously the story would start with the 13th Doctor in prison, because that's where we know she is after the events of the ending of the Timeless Children. In a prison, presumably guarded by Judoon, although we don't know that, although in my version of the story, there are going to be Judoon in this prison. Going to have been in there for a little while, and she's going to be broken out by the Roof Doctor, and then you're going to have a epic escape scene with the 13th Doctor and Roof escaping and all these Judoon firing on them. It'll be pretty epic, hopefully, and it will essentially be revealed that there's this planet ruled by a vicious dictatorship. You've got these people here who are utterly horrible to their subjects and put them through essentially hell because they're a higher class and they're in power. And the Roof Doctor tried to stop that and tried to cause a revolution. And because these people were in so much power, she was seen as a terrorist, and the Doctor was sentenced to prison. However, typical Judoon, they messed up and sent Jodie Whittaker into prison rather than the Roof Doctor, and that's how the Roof Doctor knows she's in there and would break them out. Now obviously with the Roof Doctor and the 13th Doctor evading Judoon capture, they'd go to the planet and they'd actually try and finish what the Roof Doctor started, causing a revolution up against the dictatorship that are very fascist and just general horrible people, you know, your typical space dictatorship. Oh, they'd naturally succeed in this. You'd get a lot of uplifting things about the 13th Doctor saying, you know, you can do it, anyone can do it, and they'll be like, you got imprisoned in a Judoon prison, the highest maximum facility prison other than Storm Cage, and you know, you got out of that, so that means we can do anything, we can defeat these fascist leaders. And that causes a big uprising speech, good for Christmas I suppose. And they'd all manage that. 2 doctors would be helping them overcome the dictatorship, teaching them how to revolt, all this kind of stuff. When they do it, they'd overthrow, only for the Doctor to realise that that's exactly what they wanted. Now, who are they? Now, the Doctor will get the people to overthrow the dictatorship, only to find that the person behind the dictatorship was Davros. Now, essentially, these people who are the dictators have been manipulated and controlled by Davros to treat these people this way. And that is because, essentially, Davros were to explore more ideas of how to create racial purity in the universe. Rather than just exterminating everyone, he thought, how about we get the people to exterminate themselves, and was using this planet as an experiment, essentially, to turn two types of people against each other. Now, obviously, when the Doctor came, he thought, brilliant, the Doctor will help them revolt. However, he needed to send the Doctor into prison that he knew the Doctor would be able to easily escape from, in order for them to then get that fighting spirit from the Doctor and give them the belief to revolt. And then ultimately, these two forces, the dictators, the people with their spirit to revolt, would then essentially kill each other and exterminate all of them. And it's essentially a Dalek experiment that they've sent Davros down to essentially supervise in order to test this and see if it can be done on a wider scale. And essentially, the Doctor, while destroying the dictatorship, thought she was doing something right, but essentially played it into Davros's hands and gave him exactly what he wanted. And then obviously you could get, after all that has been kicked off and everyone's dead. I know, pretty morbid for a Christmas or potential New Year's special, but they've all killed each other on the planet. You won't have to dwell on it too much, you won't see blood or anything, but it'll be a massacre. Davros would be sent up to the Dalek mothership, and obviously he'd take both Doctors with him, because obviously the Daleks, after getting the Doctor to do what they wanted, would want them captive so they could exterminate them. And they'd take them up to the ship, and they'd obviously face trial by the Daleks, so you see all the cool new Daleks, you see the Black Dalek there. The Doctor and Roof Doctor would escape the mothership by the Roof Doctor blowing it up. Now, we know that the Roof Doctor has a bit of a ruthless streak, pardon the pun, shown in Fugitive of the Judoon, and it would be a case of the Roof Doctor would blow up this Dalek ship, even despite the Doctor's wishes. However, you'd see that Davros would commit an emergency temporal shift and escape at the end. So the Doctor would be back on her own. She's had a big argument with Ruth, which you'd see, and essentially they have different methods. The 13th Doctor is very much a pacifist, and you'd establish that, but the Roof Doctor really isn't, really creating a divide and a uniqueness between these two characters. They both have the title the Doctor, whether they're both very different in not only their personalities, but their methods and how they get the job done. The 13th Doctor would then be alone in her TARDIS, and then would go off knowing that even though the Daleks are gone, it cost an entire civilization, as well as partial genocide, and she contributed to that. And it'll be a pretty morbid note, but, you know, there you go. It would end on with the Doctor going back to see the companions, because she knows she needs them, and she needs their company more than her own company, because ultimately that's where she makes mistakes. Now, I know this story ultimately would eliminate a number of things which you know are going to be in the special, mainly the inclusion of not only Captain Jack, but also the companions. Now, if you watch my Fixing Series 12 video, you'd know that I'd have Captain Jack feature in the Cyberman 3-parter, so ultimately he wouldn't need to appear in this one. But also, I just think it would be interesting to have Jodie go off on an adventure on her own. We haven't really seen that much, only glimpses in Fugitive of the Judoon. And I think it would be nice to have another pair-up story of Ruth and the 13th Doctor. And I think Jodie works better when she's not with the companions, so we'd certainly see better acting ability. And obviously it would be exploring the relationship between the 13th Doctor and the Ruth Doctor, be giving us more of Ruth, which I think everyone would be happy with. I know it eliminates a lot of factors. It's not really your typical Dalek story. The Daleks wouldn't feature an amazing amount. They'd only really be there at the end. It would be more of the Daleks behind the scenes using their intelligence, manipulating the civilizations, and then the more confrontations would be Davros, who you'd encounter first, who's actually been behind it, working for the Daleks. So you'd have him back, presumably I'd like it to be Julian Bleach. I think it's the best of both worlds. You'd see the Doctor on her own, more of the Roof Doctor, more of the scheming, intelligent Daleks, which I think would be really cool, exploring the ideologies of the Daleks and their racial purity aspect, which I don't think has been emphasised enough in recent media. And yeah, it would just show the intelligence. You get more of Davros. I know the Daleks it wouldn't be in it much, and it's called Revolution of the Daleks, but a revolution takes place, and at the end of the day, Davros is in it. And you might say, well, Davros is in the Daleks, Revelation of the Daleks is called Revelation of the Daleks, even though it's primarily a Davros story. So I could still do this here. I just think it would work a lot better, and I just think it would be a really cool story, as I said, having more of Jodie on her own, more of the Roof Doctor, more Davros, more ideology of the Daleks, and I just think it would be a really cool story. Now, this is obviously going to be far removed from what we'll probably actually get for Revolution of the Daleks, but I just think it's a pretty cool idea. And yeah, that's just why I made this video, guys. It would be a pretty cool idea, and before the special comes out, I just wanted to pitch what I would do with it. Yes, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like, drop a sub and hit that notification bell to stay notified for all my latest videos. And what do you think of my pitch? Do you like my pitch for this episode? Do you not? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and also drop down what you would do for Revolution of the Daleks, because I'd be really interested to hear it. Yes, thank you guys for watching, and of course, a goodbye. I'm so